Good morning everyone, today we're checking out a brand new video that was recommended to us. Welcome to the most heartbreaking downfall in the Arkham franchise. Let's hop in and check it out.
Welcome back. We're going to bring some sanity back to the madhouse. Today we look at Gotham's fallen White Knight, Harvey Dent, aka Two-Face. Two-Face is one of my favourite Batman villains, and this love spawned from three places in particular. Lego Batman 1,
So how is this the heartbreaking downfall?
The Dark Knight, and the Arkhamverse. The latter being what we're going to talk about today, and analyse as we ask the question, what made a once well-respected district attorney and the face of a brighter future for Gotham become one of its most feared and powerful criminals?
Oh.
Like the video because it genuinely helps out so much.
I mean, hell, I could actually save us the 50 minutes and say it. He was abused as a kid because his dad, before beating him every time, would flip a coin. If it was heads, he'd beat him. No, if it was heads, he'd walk away. If it was tails, he'd beat him. And that led to Harvey getting some kind of PTSD to where he can no longer do anything in life without flipping a coin, even if it's something as just telling left or right, saying yes or no. And, that was fine. He lived his life, he was doing okay, but it did also lead into a different identity disorder, creating who was called the Judge, I think? No, Big Bad Harv. That was the original name for the Two-Face personality before he became Two-Face. Then there was some kind of accident, an explosion, a fire, chemical burn, something, and it burned off half of his face, leading to the birth of Two-Face.
Well, only like it if you actually like it, of course. And subscribe, because we're trying to hit 10k before the end of the year. And let me know if you enjoy these story recap, documentary style videos, because they're really fun to make. And if you do enjoy them, there's a link in the description for a video in this style on Scarecrow. So go and watch that after this, and let's begin at the start. How did Big Bad Harv take the reins from one of Gotham's most unfortunate sons?
I mean, I pretty much saved us the
Harvey
video,
Dent
but
was raised in an abusive household by his single father, Christopher Dent. Harvey had a sister named Alexandria and a mother, but they left for unknown reasons. But we can assume it was something to do with Christopher's drinking.
Yeah, no shit.
Harvey's father was not very loving, drinking his sorrows away and being emotionally and physically abusive towards his son, and then turning around and acting like nothing happened when he sobered up. Christopher would often use a coin, which he'd flip to give his son a chance to escape being beaten when he was drunk, instilling into Dent that everything was left to chance. Life, death, beatings, no beatings. Everything was...
I literally saved us the whole video. I could just end this now and be done, but no, I am curious if I missed anything.
left to chance. And although he wouldn't put this mindset into practice for a few years, it was implanted pretty early. Dent would eventually be put into care under Dr. Leslie Tompkins in her home for youths. He spent a lot of his early years suffering from a plethora of mental illnesses, including but not limited to paranoia and dissociative identity disorder.
DID.
Which, for those of you who, like me, know little to nothing about this disorder, basically means Harvey would often think he was someone else. He wouldn't respond to being called Harvey, he'd act out of character, and he'd basically become a whole new person. This would cause him to have huge gaps in his memory and suffer from amnesia, something which would come into play big time later in his life. Harvey would meet Bruce Wayne, the billionaire son of Thomas and Martha Wayne, who were killed in Crime Alley. Harvey and Bruce would initially bond over TV shows, their respective traumas, and their love for Dr. Tompkins, who the pair would come to see as a maternal figure in their lives, in place of their respective birth mothers. Harvey and Bruce would become brothers over time and lean on each other for support.
I mean, that part is actually still true regardless of whichever series you look at. In one of the first animated Batman series, Harvey does finally undergo some plastic surgery to fix his face. But when he asks who's covering the bill, the doctor says it was done by your friend, Bruce Wayne. And Harvey actually says, good old Bruce. Always watching out for me, just before he went under.
Most prevalent when we see a memory of Bruce and Harvey at the Dent house, as Harvey tells his dad he's leaving the home forever. Christopher doesn't take to this well in his drunken state and lashes out at Harvey after flipping his coin, even injuring Bruce as he tries to get in between the pair to protect his friend. Christopher would end up locking the pair in a cupboard and eventually he'd free them, while acting surprised they were in there. This could be a sign that he too suffered from dissociative identity disorder, or this could just be what it looks like, an abusive drunk trying to make up for his actions.
Definitely
There
that.
is some evidence to back the fact Christopher might have suffered from DID, which we'll come to a little later on. Harvey's formative years were spent in and out of the care of Dr. Tompkins, and to say he had it rough would be an understatement. But this time being moulded by the good and bad of Leslie and his father respectively, meant Harvey's view of the world was black and white, good and evil, and nothing in between. This meant that he would eventually go on to study law, something driven by his promise to his friend Bruce that he would find the man who killed his parents on that fateful night and bring closure to someone who stood by him through thick and thin. Harvey would eventually get into law school.
They literally became brothers, not by blood, but through everything else.
Through Bruce, who offered him a scholarship, and Dent was reluctant to take it, seeing himself as a bit of a charity case, but Bruce insisted and he eventually took it. Just before Bruce left, the pair would celebrate Harvey being candidate for district attorney.
Yeah,
Dent's
that's
father
right.
happened to be in the room and begin berating and belittling his son. This is where we get some hint that Christopher suffered from the same mental illnesses as Harvey, as he tells him that every Dent has something wrong with them, including him, and if he became DA, Gotham would pay the price for his own shortcomings, and it would be an awful choice. Harvey would stand and take the abuse before finally, after so many years, fighting back and hitting his father, being held back by Bruce in the process. This would mark the end of Harvey's relationship with his father, as we never see him again in the series.
Shit.
We do hear about him a fair bit here and there, but as far as physical appearances go, this is the end of Christopher Dent. After Bruce would leave Gotham to study under Tibetan monks or whatever rich billionaire playboys do with their time, and before the Christmas Eve of Arkham Origins, Harvey would marry a woman called Gilda Gold and be elected as Gotham's district attorney, giving him the power to finally make real change, something he'd do in the years while working alongside Jim Gordon of the GCPD and a vigilante simply known as the Batman. Harvey's first big bust would come after he prosecute and subsequently convict Garfield Lynch, also known as Firefly, following his attack on the Gotham Pioneers Bridge on Christmas Eve. This would lead Lynch to getting slapped with 9 consecutive life sentences, which built Dent's reputation up among the Gotham public. Jim Gordon...
Okay, so this is how he got burned in at least the Arkham universe. Okay.
...would go on to become the Commissioner, which would strengthen Dent's sway within Gotham politics, because Jim, Harvey and Batman would form a crime-fighting trifecta, with Dent's political know-how, Jim's leadership and influence within the GCPD, and Batman's ability to do what the cops couldn't, all coming together to ensure a brighter future for Gotham. And it's through this team-up that the team managed to bring down some of Gotham's most notorious crime bosses, including the infamous Carmine Falcone, head of the Falcone crime family, and Dent was nicknamed Gotham's White Knight, which solidified his place as a well-loved, well-trusted, and well-adjusted member of the legal system, who really just...
The White Knight, the Black Knight, and the Blue Knight.
...wanted to see Gotham go into a better future. However, all of this public praise was contrasted with Dent's own mental battles behind the scenes, and sometimes they'd come to the forefront of his public persona. One incident saw Dent assault an abusive father named Alex Riccioli in a trial after hearing about the awful physical abuse he inflicted upon his 6-year-old son. This struck a chord with Harvey and he lashed out, but the public seemed to love it, seeing it as a slap in the face to anyone who thought they could abuse children and get away with it. Harvey would be branded as the two-fisted DA, but while the public backed Harvey's actions, the man himself would come forward to apologise for the outburst. It was also around this time that Harvey's mental issues would begin putting pressure on his relationship with his wife Gilda.
Did you see his hand? Hold on, I don't know. I know this is an episode, this video is about Harvey and all, but this dude's hand, and I assume I'm playing as Bruce, literally has a hole in it. Like he took a knife through. God.
Who began becoming scared of him whenever he'd started to lose control. Harvey actually talks to Dr. Jonathan Crane about this incident in a really fascinating tape.
Jonathan Crane, i.e. Scarecrow,
which I'll let play out now, which you can find in Arkham Shadow if you want to go listen to it for yourself.
That was certainly a novel approach to cross-examination. I know, Doc. I lost it. You should have seen the police photos. This bastard didn't just beat his kid, he starved him. Kept him locked in a closet for 6 months. 8 years old. Fighting with the rats over scraps of food. When the cops finally freed him, kidneys had failed, and his heart was scarred by infection.
My what?
My goodness. Harrowing stuff. And his dad has the nerve to take the stand and tell the court his kid deserved it.
No kid
Piece of
deserves
shit's
that.
lucky I only took a couple of swings at him. Besides, I might have just torched my whole career.
Which is a possibility.
I doubt that.
Fight.
You're a hero in the papers. Two-fisted DA, Deck's deadbeat dad. The public's behind you on this.
My own dad's to blame for my short fuse. But I can't lose my temper like that again.
It would be wise to
Your
try
father.
to keep some hold
I'd
if
like
you
to hear
can.
more about him.
You really think this stuff will help?
Early trials are quite promising. Now, hold this. Hold it.
Uh-oh.
There you go. And take 3 deep
The
breaths.
field toxin.
Good. I want you to consider that your recent outbursts may be stress-induced. Building a case against Carmine Falcone clearly had you burning the candle at both ends.
Well, tell that to the press. All I hear about is how the Batman brought down the Roman Empire. We weren't together, you know. Me.
I actually gotta wonder, why did a lot of the press always say the Batman instead of just saying Batman?
Gordon, too.
There's only one Batman.
I'm starting to lose my cool again.
No. No. That's good. Good. We've already touched on how much you've been repressing.
How much is left?
The more you try to contain your shadow,
Maybe a minute?
the more that aspect of your psyche stagnates and festers. We need to bring it to light.
Drag it out of the darkness.
Uh-oh.
That's what I've been
Big
trying to
bad
do with this
tall.
whole city. Too many trials. Too many appeals. Better we let fate judge. 50-50. Like flipping a coin. Better odds than my old man gave me.
Yeah,
Harvey,
fun.
now a key figure in Gotham's justice system and one of its last remaining real moral compasses, would find himself dragged deeper into the city's madness, as he and Commissioner Gordon uncovered whispers of something darker lurking beneath the surface, a shadowy figure known only as the Rat King, and an ominous event referred to in cult circles as the Day of Wrath. After briefing Batman on what little intel they had, Dent parted ways with Gordon and Batman, heading off to attend a fundraiser for Dr. Leslie Tompkins. But, as is often the case in Gotham, no good deed goes unpunished. While Dent mingled among the city's elites trying to raise money for the woman who once raised him, the rat struck. Harvey was ambushed and nearly burned alive by a fanatical cultist known as Shrike, a moment that could have been the end for Gotham's White Knight if not for the intervention of Batman, who pulled him from the fire. This part was a really nice way to fake out the Two-Face reveal. I remember playing for the first time and putting all of my money on the fact that this is where he'd become Two-Face and we'd spend the rest of the game building him up to become like the final form of Two-Face. But I was wrong, and I'm glad I was, because I think the actual turn of Two-Face is much better. Yeah. Harvey wouldn't let the attack slow him down, though. In fact, it only made him more determined. Working closely with Gordon, he was instrumental in placing Christopher Nakano, a promising young cop, undercover inside Blackgate Penitentiary.
Perfect.
Nakano's mission was to uncover the Rat King's true identity from the inside, and while Harvey believed he was slowly closing in on this elusive enemy, he remained completely unaware of one devastating truth, which we'll find out later. On one of the few occasions Dent actually did visit Blackgate in person, stopping in to check on Dr. Leslie Tompkins as he treated inmates, he arrived during a particularly volatile situation. Leslie had just finished treating a new prisoner, Irving Matches Malone, a man with fractured ribs and a knife wound to his hand after a brutal altercation with Christopher Nakano.
The knife wound.
The fight had sparked when Nakano caught Malone eavesdropping on a dangerous conversation between Warden Lyle Bolton and none other than Carmine Falcone. The scuffle kept Nakano's cover intact, but it left a trail of blood in its wake. One more reminder that the lines between good and evil in Gotham are always blurred, and always
extremely.
bleeding. And then 2 days before the Day of Wrath would bring Gotham to its knees, Harvey Dent uncovered the one truth that had haunted him since childhood. After years of silence,
What did he
obsession,
find?
and dead ends, he finally found the man responsible for killing Thomas and Martha Wayne.
Oh.
Joe Chill. He
There
had
he
Joe
is.
quietly removed from Blackgate for reasons only he knew of. And then the Day of Wrath began. It started with a disappearance.
You could technically think of Joe Chill as the father of Batman.
Christopher Nakano, Gotham's undercover man inside
I know I'm definitely not the first person to say or think that.
Blackgate, vanished without a trace. When word got back to Dent and Gordon, alarms went off. All signs pointed to Irving Malone, the same man Nakano had brawled with on his first day. Suspicion fell hard and fast upon top of Malone. Gordon, piecing the puzzles together, began to suspect that not only had Malone killed Nakano, but he might be the Rat King himself. So, with the pressure mounting,
Ooh.
Dent and Gordon dragged Malone into court for a pre-trial hearing. Before leaving for the hearing, though, Harvey made a desperate attempt to reach Bruce, maybe for guidance, maybe for support, maybe just to talk to a friend before the madness hit.
Could be
but
really any
there
of
was
that.
no answer. Neither Harvey nor Gordon knew the truth. Malone wasn't just innocent, he was in fact Batman. He
I
was
knew it.
Bruce Wayne, and he was deep undercover trying to find the real Rat King. Then came the trial, and in classic Gotham fashion, it didn't go to plan, because of course it didn't, nothing ever goes to plan in this dump. Dr. Jonathan Crane, a totally sane and
there he
normal
is.
man, always one to overstep boundaries in the name of science, tried to dose Malone with an intriguing substance, allegedly to make him quote-unquote more cooperative. But as Crane
Field
approached,
toxin.
Dent and a nearby officer sensed something was off. Malone reacted, not in fear, but in recognition. He'd seen this chemical before. He knew what it could do. So, in a split-second decision, he knocked the canister from Crane's hand, and that's when everything changed. The chemical burst into the air and splashed across Harvey's left side, face, and arm.
So that's how he became Two-Face in the Arkham universe? Because of Scarecrow? Damn it, Scarecrow!
The liquid
And yes, I know. Why are you blaming Scarecrow? Bruce was the one that punched it. I'm blaming Scarecrow because he was the one literally being told by people, I could even see it right here, being told to back off, don't approach the bench. And what did he do? He kept trying to approach.
harmless inside the container became acidic when exposed to oxygen. It ate through his skin like a tortoise at a buffet. Harvey didn't realise what had happened, but then the pain hit and the screaming followed. Crane pointed the finger at Malone, accusing him of an intentional attack. Leslie Tompkins, trying to protect the man she knew to be Bruce Wayne under disguise, asked if Malone was okay. But that's when Harvey snapped. In disbelief, in agony, and in rage, Dent broke down. Furious that anyone would even care about Malone after what had just happened to him.
Damn.
Bleeding, disfigured, and consumed by betrayal, Harvey staggered towards Malone, screaming that he was going to kill him for what he had done.
And there we
It took
go.
Gordon and a nearby officer to drag the district attorney out of the courtroom, as he hurled threats and accusations at the man he once called a brother. Harvey was rushed to the hospital, but the damage was already done.
Yeah.
If Harvey was once the two-fisted
Pretty
DA,
prominent.
he was now the two-faced DA. Wait, that sounds quite good. Again, interview tapes allow us to understand more about this incident, and while undergoing therapy with
so it
Crane,
happened.
Dent saw the effects of the substance firsthand. Again though, interview tapes allow us to understand more about this incident, and while undergoing therapy with Crane, Dent saw the effects of the substance firsthand. I'll let the interview play out because it does add a lot of depth to both Dent and Crane, with
Let's
Crane
hear it.
manipulating Harv into undergoing quote-unquote experimental trials. If you don't want to hear it, skip ahead because it is quite long, but I would suggest sticking around to listen to it because it is quite interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it.
No, it's, getting worse. Headaches, mostly.
That's only a function of your conscious mind giving way to your shadow self. As
Shadow
it rises
self.
to the surface,
Huh.
your awareness becomes fuzzy, in a neurological sense, as you grapple with the headache.
That's not it. It's never been this bad. Gilda's scared. And I am too.
Ooh,
You
that's
fear
right.
becoming your father. You fear you'll assume his worst traits as you get older. Please, sit. Have a sip of water. Good, 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 good.
Too many
Listen,
goods.
things always feel more intense just before the real healing begins. You are making remarkable progress.
And there it is.
We
There's the
are
split.
making remarkable progress.
The we.
Of course, Mr. Dent. This is good for both of us.
Doctor, I want to stop the treatments.
But why?
Why? What the hell happened to your lab rat this morning?
It's the unfortunate reality of medical testing that, on occasion, we have to put an animal through some measure of discomfort in order to...
The shit you got me breathing burned its fur off. Melted its skin.
And
Mr.
melted
Dent.
you.
The individual chemicals in this solution are heavily corrosive, but when properly diluted, they are inert and stable.
Inert and stable. I don't know.
Harvey, I've been reviewing our recorded sessions, and I'm confident you're on the cusp of a major breakthrough. Trust the process. If not for yourself, then do it for Gilda. Doesn't she deserve a healthier, happier husband?
I mean, yeah, but
If my symptoms don't resolve
him?
soon, I am out.
Understood. You're making the right choice. I'll prepare the dose.
Outside the courthouse, the world reacted chaotically. Malone, still thought to be a low-level thug, became infamous overnight. Inside Blackgate, the inmates cheered his return,
obvious
celebrating
why.
what happened to Dent like it was a victory. On the outside, reporters like Vicky Vale broadcast the incident across every screen in Gotham, painting Malone as the villain, a pawn of Carmine Falcone who had hurled acid at Gotham's beloved White Knight during
okay, whoever was playing this game was clearly enjoying being the criminal.
public trial. Warden Lyle Bolton, infuriated by what he thought was a betrayal of justice, tried to execute Malone in the Blackgate gas chamber, before the rats initiated a full-scale riot inside Blackgate. The chaos, though, wasn't an accident. It was all a part of the Day of Wrath. In the confusion, Malone was able to escape. The rats believed him to be their king. But, as we'd soon find out, this was far from the truth. But while Gotham went insane over the courthouse incident, no one really saw what was happening behind the curtain. Inside Harvey Dent himself, because the damage wasn't only physical, it in fact was mostly mental. It was his mind again. His dad told him there was something wrong with all of the Dents, and maybe he was right now. Harvey had had his battles before, but this was different. This was irreparable. After escaping the hospital, Harvey tried to reach Bruce one last time. He called, he pleaded, he left a voicemail, telling Bruce that he'd finally found Joe Chill, the man who killed his parents. But Harvey was alone. In his fractured state, Harvey hijacked a prison ship loaded with rats that had vanished from Blackgate. Deluded and desperate, he set the ship to explode upon arrival in Gotham. In his mind, this would cleanse the city, saving it from the rats' influence. All of it, the explosion, the death, the sacrifice, it was all a step towards justice and revenge.
Well,
because ultimately, Harvey's goal wasn't the rats, it was Joe Chill, the man who had haunted Bruce's life for decades, and now Harvey's as well. As the ship left Blackgate and sailed towards the city, though, something changed. A new voice took over, his other half, the one who had manipulated everything from the shadows. The Rat King took control. When Batman would eventually fight his way through the ship and knock on the door of the room where Harvey was broadcasting his messages from, something cracked inside Harvey. The real Harvey came to the surface, the one who still wanted to do right. He let Bruce in. He explained the plan, the bomb, the sacrifice, all of it to stop the elusive Rat King, only for Batman to finally be able to tell him the truth. Harvey was the Rat King. All this time he'd been chasing himself. He'd been chasing shadows. Sorry, that was too easy to miss out on. Come on, that was a layup.
That is a good reveal.
He didn't believe it. He couldn't be the Rat King. But disbelief turned to devastation, and devastation turned to anger. The Rat King took over, knocking Batman down and declaring that tonight Batman doesn't get to save Gotham. He will fail.
Nope.
Batman managed to disable the bomb, but he couldn't stop the ship from crashing. It tore through Gotham's harbour and cut through the side of the GCPD, leaving wreckage in its wake. A fitting symbol for what Harvey Dent had become. The man who was supposed to save Gotham was now just another name in the long list of names trying to take it down. He'd failed, he'd proven his dad right, the Dents were cursed, and he was elected DA, and Gotham did suffer. Batman gave chase to Dent through the wreckage of the ship to the partly destroyed D, and eventually found Dent with Joe Chill. Having finally listened to Dent's voicemail and realising the Joe he had befriended at Blackgate and kidnapped by Dent was the same man who had his parents murdered. This climb through the G...
Hold on, gotta ask one thing. Harvey, where did you get that suit, man? Like, is that custom or what? Where did you actually get a perfectly split suit like that?
CPD is one of the most heartbreaking scenes in a game which loves a heartbreaking scene. Because knowing what we know about Dent, it just reminds us that we couldn't save him. He tried so hard to tell us what he was doing, but in all the drama, the big details overshadowed the small ones that could have saved the day. The mission got in the way. Batman failed Harvey. As Dent prepared to kill Joe in order to avenge the Waynes, screaming at Joe that Bruce was only a 10-year-old boy when he chose to kill them, he would then scream at Batman that he doesn't understand how Bruce Wayne would feel after being told by Batman that Bruce wouldn't want Harvey to kill. Joe chilled. To convince Harvey he knows exactly what Bruce would want, Batman unmasked himself and revealed...
I know exactly what Bruce would want. Click. I'm Bruce.
He was Bruce to calm him down, a ploy that did work, as Dent was reduced to tears seeing his old friend didn't actually want Chill dead, despite all that he had done. All of this was for nothing.
So, wait, does that mean in the Arkham universe, Harvey Dent is the only one that, aside from, I assume, Jim Gordon and Alfred, is the only one that actually knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman? Or does that somehow get a little retcon or erased or something?
Chill was able to escape unharmed, with Batman telling him to get the hell out of there, but not before Joe apologised for what he did. Harvey's other personality would take control again, and after flipping his father's coin to determine his next move, he attempted to jump to his death, though Bruce manages to save him regardless, even after jumping off the building with Bruce holding on to him.
Would have done the same for me.
Oh, damn.
To retain Harvey's reputation, it would be reported that Dent himself had stopped the Rat King and his Day of Wrath from occurring with the help of Batman. Batman would also release a statement confirming the Rat King and his cult's activities had been stopped, despite the rumours that Matches Malone, who the public believed was now on the run, was actually the Rat King. 2 days later, Bruce would return to Blackgate, this time not as Matches or Batman, but as himself, where he would visit Harvey, who was receiving medical treatment from Leslie Tompkins. When asked by Bruce how Dent was doing, Tompkins would tell Bruce that Harvey, along with being confused and scared, was also losing his memories of their encounter with each passing day, giving Bruce back his anonymity as Batman, which one must believe would have been a sigh of relief. Tompkins, however, would warn Bruce that technically Harvey wasn't alone in her office
Okay, so that answers the question.
at the moment. Dent soon woke up, though, when he saw Bruce come in to see him, asking how he was, now in a daze. The two talk, and Harvey keeps saying things regarding them, saying they were brothers. Bruce assumes he means himself and Harvey, right before Dent's second personality would take over, and claimed Dent was actually talking about himself and his alternate personality. Big Bad Harv goes on to explain what he believed he and Dent were now. They were both good and evil, right and wrong, light, shadow, and...
I'm sorry, but with no eyelids on that eye is pretty damn irritated and dry. He must have some good-ass eye drops or something.
As he takes out the coin before attempting to flip it. Harvey regained control of himself and became emotionally confused about how his coin got into his hand and what was happening to him. He tells Bruce and Leslie he fears he's psychotic, and Dent would learn from Tompkins that he had dissociative identity disorder.
DID.
And after asking if there was a cure for it, he would be told that there were only treatments to deal with it. Because of his second personality, Harvey now only notices Bruce in the room with him, smiling as he reaches for his friend's hand. Bruce takes it in return as Harvey, hopeful, promises Bruce that what was happening wasn't the end of him.
And Big Bad Harv.
This is the beginning of ours.
Yep.
Arkham Shadow's usage of Harvey for me is one of Batman's best media uses of the character outside of the comics. It gives him a meaningful, heartbreaking and sympathetic backstory, which means his later appearances feel more personal. Before Shadow, I never really felt an emotional connection to Harvey or Two-Face. I liked the character a lot, but never felt that same sympathy I feel towards characters like Mr. Freeze or Killer Croc, or even, in a weird way, the Joker. But after this game and its masterful use of Harvey, it changed the way I think about the character in the rest of the games.
Probably does
And if
for
you
a lot
haven't
of
been
people.
through the story yourself, I'd highly recommend you do, because it'll give you a deeper connection to the character, and it makes certain interactions further down the line feel so much more meaningful and deep. But what did Harvey
I
get
would
up
sign
to
off
between
on that.
Shadow and Asylum? Well, quite a bit. Harvey lost control completely, and that second voice in his head stopped being just a whisper or a momentary lapse. It gave itself a name, Two-Face, and from there Harvey was all but gone. He'd become obsessed with duality, obsessed with chance, with right and wrong decided by a single coin toss. That's how far he'd fallen. He went from Gotham's White Knight to a man flipping a coin to decide whether to rob a bank or donate to charity. And just to drive the point home, he refused skin grafts. He kept the burnt suit from that trial, the same one from the day it all went down. Eventually, the left sleeve began rotting away or fell off, and he still wore it anyway, believing it to be as much as part of him as his coin. It was a constant reminder to everyone else who he...
Oh, actual quick fun fact, the coin he uses is a double-sided head coin. The side that's meant to represent tails is scratched and scarred.
Was now, as if the face thing wasn't enough. Two-Face rose to power, built his own empire, quietly, methodically. He rose through Gotham's underworlds, not just as a criminal, but as one of its most dangerous leaders. His crew consisted of literally anyone who could join, but making it to the top was another coin toss entirely. You had to survive long enough for him to even remember your name. Senior members, however, did know exactly who they were talking to, Harvey or Two-Face, depending on how the man acted that day. And even when he scored big, he'd sometimes just throw it away, literally, just to follow what the coin said. He was unpredictable, chaotic, and completely lost to his illness.
Yep.
When Arkham Asylum reopened, he ended up getting bounced back in there again, and again,
And there it
again,
is.
and again. It was labelled as court-mandated psych help, but Harvey never really wanted help. He pushed back every time. Eventually it got too much, even for his wife Gilda, and in one of the smartest moves in this series that anyone makes, she left him. He even tried to burn down half of an apartment complex, targeting a guard from Arkham. Batman stopped him, but the damage had already been done, and that poor guard probably had
I think that happened in one of the comics.
to pay some serious renovation fees. The next thing we hear from Dent is after the Joker's takeover of Arkham Island during the initial cleanup operation and reassertion of control of the island. A police report states Dent is robbing a bank in Gotham, and as the criminal elite of Arkham Asylum are put back in their cell, Batman heads out to stop him, continuing what would be the longest night of his career. However, we do get some notes from Dr. Penelope Young, which I'll read now. Medication seems to be having a hit-and-miss effect. Psychological profile.
Oh, this is interesting.
A bizarre schizotypal.
Schizotypical?
What do you say that? A bizarre schizotypal, Dent shows intense ideation focused on the concept of dualism. This arises out of his unique facial disfigurement. Half of his face has been scarred by acid, as shown by its emergence concurrent with the incident that scarred him. He has no prior history of psychopathic behaviour, but since his disfigurement he has continually created situations based on positive and negative outcomes, with chance as a deciding factor. He accepts no responsibility for the sociopathic destructive outcomes that result approximately 50% of the time.
Yeah, 50-50, it is coin flip.
Dent's ideation around dualism extends to his clothing, his environment, and the central token of his psychological makeup, his half-scarred silver dollar. He becomes catatonic if it is removed from him. Perhaps I should be unsurprised that only half of our treatment sessions are productive. The other half are characterised by endless, pointless word games revolving around chance and fate. Dent's next escapade came when, because of his obsession with duality, he allowed twins Terry and Tracy, more commonly known as TNT, to join his gang. He put them in charge of guarding crates he got of Titan that had been dredged up from the Gotham River in the aftermath of the Arkham riots, telling Batman that the coin said it was a good investment. While he didn't think the twins were clever enough to pose a threat, they began using the bunker under his hideout to test the Titan on themselves, boosting their strength far beyond normal limits. They eventually turned on him and left him broken, barely alive. Sugar and Spice took care of him after the attack. Yes, the same Sugar and Spice from Batman Forever. Yes, that film had a comical amount of deep-cut characters.
I didn't know that.
Not long after, though, the twins struck again, this time during the City Hall rededication ceremony. Batman intercepted the attack, and after getting information from Two-Face, to even the odds, he coated his gloves and boots with explosive gel, the same kind he'd used to take down Joker back on Arkham
Titan
Island.
Joker.
He moved him fast and
regular.
brought the twins down with a series of tranquilizer darts, but before he could secure them, the twins made contact with someone over a hidden channel. Seconds later, explosives buried in their body were triggered remotely. The hidden channel had Professor Hugo Strange on the other side, and the
course
blast
it was
coming from
Hugo.
the twins leveled City Hall. Over 300 civilians were killed. The destruction gave Mayor Quincy Sharp the excuse he needed to lock down the city, declare martial law, and begin construction on what would become Arkham City. Once locked up in the newly constructed, ungoverned Arkham City, Two-Face began to
That is so much lore. I love it.
claim territory. He seized the Solomon Wayne Courthouse in Park Row as his base and threw Calendar Man into a cell beneath it so they could have a date later on.
Ha! Bazinga.
Sorry. Looking to boost his standing in the hierarchy of evil bastards, Two-Face kidnapped the Joker and staged a public trial, blaming him for the creation of Arkham City itself. He invited an all-star
not
lineup
wrong,
of villains,
technically.
inviting Penguin, Bane, Ratcatcher, Poison Ivy, Sickle, not Hammer though, Victor Zsasz, Riddler,
Sickle, but not hammer. No hammer.
Mad Hatter, the Carpenter, Ventriloquist, Black Mask, and Deadshot to serve as jury.
Son
With
of
Harley Quinn
bitch,
acting as
that's
the
a lot of
Joker's
people.
lawyer. This trial drew in almost every inmate in the city, leaving the streets dead quiet, something that didn't sit right with Batman after he'd been keeping tabs on the
I'm not getting PNGs of every inmate. Fuck off.
city for a while. When Joker was found guilty and sentenced to die, Batman broke in and the courthouse exploded into violence. Joker and
Yeah,
Harley
I can see
escaped
why.
in the chaos with their gang back to the amusement mile, while Batman managed to slip out and regrouped with Catwoman on the
parents.
rooftop nearby. In Arkham City, we can actually unlock a 3-part story called Catwoman and Two-Face, which I'll read now. I'm not sure where exactly it takes place in the timeline, hence why I've kind of tacked it on here and why it wasn't mentioned earlier.
That's
but by
fine.
using a bit of logic, we can deduce it takes place just after the creation of Arkham City, although the specifics aren't specified. As Strange's grip
Here we
tightened
go.
and the gates of Arkham City slammed shut on Gotham's criminals, only 3 were left at large: Two-Face, Catwoman, and Batman. Catwoman sat in her apartment debating whether to flee when her phone rang. On the other end of it, the unmistakable voice of Two-Face. "Sorry, Kitty Cat,
Whoa.
but one of us had to go down." Suddenly,
man.
Tiger Guards were at her door. Fleeing, Catwoman fought her way through guard after guard to the safety of a nearby roof. She could only watch as guards ransacked her apartment until they found her safe. She readied her claws, but a shadowy figure
lucky.
appeared behind her and held a glove over her mouth until she passed out. Catwoman came to in the Batmobile as it raced through the streets of Gotham. She angrily told Batman that he should not have gotten involved. Batman told her to give up on her loot and leave town before it was too
Give
late.
them the loot. Get the hell out.
Undeterred, she asked how Batman knew so much about Arkham City. He explained that he'd found a secret room in Sharp's office back at Arkham Asylum, filled with detailed plans for the new prison complex. Catwoman
That actually would have been a great thing to find if it existed in the game.
thanked him and pressed the
Wait.
emergency
It doesn't exist, does it?
eject button on her seat. The Batmobile screeched to a halt, but it was too late. Catwoman had disappeared, and Batman knew exactly where she was heading. Two-Face was already in the Warden's office in Arkham Asylum, photographing the plans to the secret vault inside Arkham City. As Catwoman burst into the room, Two-Face laughed as he tossed the originals into the fire. Furious, she knocked him to the ground, grabbed the camera, and ran. With seemingly no escape for either of them, and the Tiger Guards alerted and closing in fast,
gotta
Catwoman
hurry.
was suddenly pulled to safety by Batman, leaving Two-Face to be captured. As Catwoman ascended, she opened the camera to reveal her prize, only to find the memory card had vanished. She looked down on Two-Face, who was showing her the card, before calmly swallowing it. Furious, Catwoman sliced
Wait,
through the line
swallowed
and
it?
plummeted to the ground, only to be surrounded by Tiger Guards, arrested, and taken to Arkham City.
Okay, that was pretty short.
This story is obviously
Alright,
very
moving on.
Catwoman heavy, but it does give us some nice backstory into Harvey and Selina's feud, which runs throughout Arkham City and pretty much the whole Arkhamverse. These two spend basically
Pretty
the
true.
whole time in Arkham City trying to steal from each other, kill each other, or outwit each other. And I think this story gives us a bit more of that, because it's a pretty interesting feud with Batman stuck directly in the middle, trying to protect Catwoman from Two-Face, who wants nothing more than to slice her in half.
I mean,
In
they both
Arkham
want to kill
City,
each other.
Hugo Strange
so,
managed to get some one-on-one time with Dent, interviewing him as he did with most inmates. But Harvey's interviews are some of the most interesting for a few reasons.
Like
I'll let
what?
them play out now and meet you at the end to discuss them.
Sit down, Mr. Dent. It is Mr. Dent I'm talking to, right?
Use our real name.
Two-Face, if you wish. Please, sit.
What is
Okay.
it strange? Not happy just arresting us, throwing us in this place.
I wish to understand you.
I'm just here to
I
talk,
have
man.
read the reports, seen the footage, and now I want to hear your side of the story.
Let's begin.
We'll see.
I assume that you feel the need to toss your coin in order to decide whether to answer my questions.
You ready to find out?
Well,
And
Not bad. Sorry.
not a problem. Guard, take Mr. Dent's coin off of him.
ooh, that's
No!
Good. Now let us see what fate has in store for you.
yeah. He's just gonna climb up.
Kill you for this.
Really? Look at your coin. It wants you to tell me about that day in the courtroom.
It was painful.
Elaborate.
I was naive. I thought I could make a difference. Falcone was going to go down for what he had done.
But he had other plans.
Kind of sounds like
Look at my face.
I am. A combination of first, second, and third degree burning.
oh wow,
The scar tissue is quite
you got a
fascinating.
full gradient.
You think?
And that is all it took to make you the way you are.
Give me my coin.
Not yet.
What is
All right,
it
third one.
strange? Are you enjoying this?
Not in the slightest. Let's go back further. You were a rising star, a beacon of light for this city. A white knight riding in to save it, with a dark
White
knight
knight
not
for the
far
day?
behind.
You can leave him out of this. He's wrong. They all are.
And a black
No
knight,
one
yeah,
understands
and a dark
the
knight
beauty
for
of
the
fate's
night.
hand. I'm grateful to Falcone. He gave me a clarity, a purity that few will know. Everything boils down to a simple choice. This way or that way.
No,
Good.
not
or
all of
bad.
them.
Do you really believe that?
How could I not?
Interesting. So all you need is this coin, and everything is simple?
Give me it.
Or what about this coin? Or this? Or these?
Small
What are you
coins.
doing?
Proving a point. Fate didn't make you answer my question. I did. I replaced your coin with my own. See? You answered me because I wanted you to.
Damn, that's kind of cold.
How is he today?
The prisoner has been quiet. Since getting those coins, he has spent most of his time examining them.
Good. Hello, Harvey. Are you ready to talk?
Leave us. We don't want to talk. Not to you.
Please, take a seat. I have one last
You can actually almost tell when it's Harvey talking and when it's Two-Face talking because of the voice.
thing to discuss, and then I will give you something in return.
I don't know. I can't decide. It's too confusing.
Of course it is. I want to talk about Mr. Wayne.
Why?
Indulge me.
We don't like the guy.
Hardly surprising. Did you ever consider that you were alike? A traumatic event created you. An equally traumatic event altered him.
I'd say.
Nothing like us. There's no risk, no danger. It's just money and girls. We should kill him.
Oh,
Maybe
so by
you
this point
should.
he's definitely forgotten about Bruce being Batman.
Listen to me, Harvey. I am going to give you a simple choice. This is your coin.
Is it? Why should I trust you?
It was your father's, correct? You
Wait,
know
really?
every inch of it. When you close your eyes, you can
Did he
feel
take
it,
it from
can't
his
you?
dad?
Give me it. Please.
I want you to understand what I'm about to tell you. You believe that this coin determines the fate of your world. I, however, believe that your condition has always been present. It was there before you were attacked, and it is still there now.
I mean,
You
yeah,
probably
then
had
just
headaches.
leave.
Your
yet.
wife found you unpredictable, scary sometimes.
Give us it.
I'm going to throw the coin in the air. If you let it fall, I will do whatever I can to cure you. I will help
That
you
could be
become
good.
the man you used to be.
Or
If you grab it, I will let you loose in Arkham City, and I will tell you what Catwoman is doing right this second.
And that's what happens.
Decide, you have to. At this moment, Catwoman is preparing to steal the contents of the safe in your old campaign office. Bitch, we need to stop her.
He
And
caught
you
the
may.
coin.
Goodbye, Mr. Dent.
These tapes were some of the best
Can't
character
believe
building
it.
we got from Two-Face before the release of Arkham Shadow. They show the fact that without his coin, he's a shell. He can't choose which way to walk without it. In tape 1, when Strange asks Harvey if he's talking to Mr. Dent, Two-Face gets defensive and asks Strange to use his quote-unquote real name, which is
Yeah.
interesting, because despite the fact he slips in and out of his two sides, Two-Face seems to be pretty aware of the fact Harvey is dead, with Harvey just wishing he was dead, which is
Ow,
something
that
we'll
hurts.
mention later. What's more interesting is when the guard takes his coin off him at the end of tape 1, he screams in retaliation. He genuinely can't live without black and white. It reminds me in a way
literally a
of
piece
Arkham
of
Asylum,
them.
A Serious House on Serious Earth, where after he's been quote-unquote rehabilitated, he begins using tarot cards, but Batman points out this would be probably worse for him. Before, it
I
was
could
yes
see
or
why.
no, right or wrong.
Easily.
But now it's yes but no and right but wrong. It gave him so many options to choose from, and it turned him into a wreck. At least with the coin he could still function, but if he's given too many or not enough options, he crumbles, and this is what we see here. He immediately threatens to kill Strange when the coin is taken away, but could he
does
actually
threaten
kill
it.
him without the coin? I don't think so. Strange then uses the coin against him to get information out of him, and as we find out, it isn't his coin, it's Strange's, which
Yep.
again throws into question whether the coin really is the problem here. If any old coin can make a choice for him, then why does the coin really matter at all? There's a ton of
That is the part that probably points to it being, a familiar connection, since it is supposedly the same coin his father used on him.
nuances we could hone in on here with these tapes, and a lot of stuff I don't even know where to begin explaining, but I implore you to make your own judgments when it comes to these tapes, because they are worth a listen, and are definitely up for interpretation at certain points. Back
They are
in
still
Arkham
pretty
City,
good.
Two-Face captured Catwoman after she tried stealing a memory drive from his old campaign office. He planned to publicly execute her to earn respect and build a following, aiming to recruit half of Arkham City's
what the
inmates
hell?
to kill the other half. But Harvey still wanted a fair trial, it was a courthouse after all. So Two-Face flipped his coin to decide, execute her now or hold a trial. It landed good side up, and that gave Batman just enough time to break in and take down the crowd of prisoners. After the fight, Two-Face shot Batman. Then he flipped his coin again to see if Catwoman should die. This time though, it came up bad. But Catwoman broke free, scratched the right side of his
Freedom.
face and went for the kill. Two-Face tried to shoot her with a second gun while uttering one of the funniest lines in the series,
Two guns, bitch!
I don't know why I find this so funny, but it always sticks in my head. But Batman, still
Two
alive,
guns,
intervened.
bitch.
He tied up Dent and left him hanging over the acid right where Catwoman had been previously. Two-Face eventually managed to escape, and the Arkham City gang war went into full swing. His gang confronted Penguin outside the museum, shouting that Dent would be back and Penguin should surrender or die. After his men wiped out Penguins, Two-Face claimed the museum and kind of won the gang war. I mean, he won it on account of
Surprisingly.
Joker being dead and Penguin technically already having his ass whipped by Batman earlier in the night, but he did technically still win, and that's what matters at the end of the day. Following Joker's death at the end of the game, he
won.
stayed in the
That's
museum's
all.
armory, knowing Catwoman would come for her loot, which he stole. Well, at least what was left of it. He'd had her apartment blown up and kept half her score.
I
When she
remember
arrived,
that.
she beat him in one of the most annoying boss fights of all time. Anyone who knows anything about this channel will know how much I hate this boss fight, it's awful. She then threatened to scar the other side of his face. Two-Face laughed and said he gave away the rest before Catwoman knocked him out. Then Dent vanished. When the GCPD stormed the prison, Harvey was likely placed in temporary holdings. We can only assume this as we know literally nothing about what happened to him directly following Arkham City. However, after Protocol 10, several inmates filed lawsuits against the city.
Protocol 10?
Dent
What was
was
that
one
one
of
again?
them and used his settlement to launch Hell's Gates trash collection and legal services. The business served as a front and would become a foray into legitimate business. Kind of. Let's put it this way, no one looks twice at garbage trucks hauling stolen goods. Later, he met with Penguin, Riddler, Ivy, Harley, Deathstroke, Scarecrow, and the Arkham Knight. His coin said to go along with the plan, so he used it as a cover for a string of bank heists. Penguin supplied weapons in exchange for a cut. 9 months later, after Arkham City, Two-Face joined the Halloween assault on Gotham. His gang targeted
How long
banks
an
across
assault?
the city. The goal was simple: wear Batman down and fund their retirements. Once Batman interfered, Two-Face doubled the payout for anyone who could kill him, and at another
Oh, look,
bank
that
he
was the
flipped to the
trash
coin
truck.
to decide whether to reward his men or kill their families. After Batman shut down 3 heists, Two-Face appeared with militia backup, in again another brutally disappointing boss fight, with Harv not even being given a health bar or any special abilities.
Damn.
In fact, and I'm going to let you in some behind the scenes here, when recording this gameplay, I didn't even clock the fact I'd not
Okay, so this is his own gameplay.
knocked him out. Batman captured him and took him back to GCPD. There were actually 2 possible conversations for the former brothers here. So, the first takes place if Batman takes Harvey down before the ending of the main story, where Batman is revealed to the world as Bruce. And in this version, Two-Face claims Harvey Dent is dead, before Harvey says he wishes he was dead, claiming Batman's at fault for what happened in the court.
Oh, okay, so this is gameplay from Arkham Knight.
Room, and he put that quote-unquote acid-throwing bastard in the dock, before Harvey reminds Batman of his promise to make Gotham a better place and save it, before, in a moment where we hear Bruce talk to Harvey and not Batman talk to Two-Face, Bruce says he's sorry, apologising for Harvey's fate.
Aww.
In the alternate interaction between Two-Face and Batman, we hear probably some of Harvey's most meaningful lines. Harvey asks Bruce
hear
if
it.
it's true, if he's really Batman, before Two-Face says he doesn't need to know the answer because they know the truth. Harvey says he isn't Bruce Wayne. Him and Gordon didn't strike a deal with Bruce Wayne, as Two-Face butts back in, saying it sure as hell isn't Bruce Wayne waiting on rooftops every night. Harvey tells
Yeah,
Bruce that
that's
they
true.
get it. This is who Bruce is, and he tells him it's not the face you're given, it's the face you choose. In such a short amount of time...
Actually, weirdly enough, that makes a hell of a lot of sense, considering that even Batman himself sees Bruce as the alternate ego, and Batman as the true self.
I'm here, Harvey and Two-Face tell us so much. They tell us that even after everything they've been through together on the same and opposing sides of the law, Harvey understands Bruce probably more than anyone. He gets it. In some convoluted way, their relationship ends with them on the same pages they met each other on. Traumatised and understanding one another's struggle and ultimately
Man-made
being two sides of the same coin. Sometime after the Nightfall Protocol, where Bruce Wayne fakes his own death, killing
Nightfall,
himself and
yeah.
Batman in the process, Robin tracked Two-Face to Bloodhaven. Dent had sent crews to rob the city's banks, knowing Nightwing was busy elsewhere and sensing the opportunity to strike while the iron was hot. Two-Face's gang cleaned out Bloodhaven for every penny they had. Robin then had to
Impressive.
cut his honeymoon short with his now wife Barbara Gordon and found Two-Face's hideout and shut his operation down, all while battling his own dwindling self-worth. Robin stormed Hellgate's courthouse after discovering where Dent was
Ah, and this is from the next game, which I am not just a fan of.
holed up, and fought his way through his gang, eventually leading to the
Mostly because we're not playing as Batman.
man himself.
That's all.
Dent taunted him through the whole thing, not taking him very seriously, believing himself to be better than the Boy Wonder. But then, Two-Face admitted the boy had become a man, and went in for the kill. He shot Robin in the foot and raised his gun to finish it. He flipped his coin to decide his fate, but before it landed, Oracle, being the ever-loving wife, activated the PA system, which created the distraction,
coin
which gave
collected.
Robin enough time to recover, strike, catch the coin in midair, and take Harvey down, bringing Dent's reign of terror to an end. His appearance in Robin's DLC is the final time we see Dent canonically in the Arkhamverse, and because of this, ironically
Wait,
enough,
is this just DLC of Arkham Knight?
he's
Damn
a
it, I
tale
can't
of
tell.
two stories. The first story is that of an extremely underutilised, underrated, and misunderstood villain who had limited screen time but made it count, using the limited time to create a sense of mystery around Gotham's former White Knight, and creating just enough aura around himself to leave fans wanting more.
He
The
is
other
pretty
side
damn
of the
good.
story is that of one of Arkham's best characters on the emotional side. From his first canonical on-screen appearance in Arkham Shadow, we understand the character on a surface level, but beneath the suit and tie, the coin and the gun, Harvey is broken. He's
Coin
not
and the
well, he
gun.
wants to do right, but goes about it in all the wrong ways. Even in Arkham Knight, he tells himself he's stealing dirty money, which he believes is corrupted, justifying his actions with a sense of justice. A through line for Harvey's character. His life was dedicated to doing right by the ones he loves, by doing right by Bruce, Batman, Gordon, Gilda, and the people of Gotham. But sadly, it just wasn't to be. In the end of it all, Harvey proved
Nearly
his
everything
father
comes
right.
falling
The
down.
Dents were cursed, and Harvey was the one to bring this to light for the world to see. Gotham would truly never forget the name Dent, and it certainly wouldn't forget the name
Not for
Two-Face.
generations to come.
Thank you so much for watching. This is an
Alright everyone, I guess that's going to be the end of today's video, and I hope you all enjoyed this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Until then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.